Good afternoon, football fans. Big Al here on this Monday, September 8th, 2025. Okay, I guess we'll do it this way then. And welcome to the latest college football rankings entering week 3 of the 2025 season. It was a pretty wild week in week number 2, as the Big Ten Conference showed up and showed out, well, pretty much with the exception of Iowa losing the Cyhawk game to Iowa State, and of course, Michigan being bullied in the trenches against Oklahoma. We will tell you where both the Sooners and Cyclones landed, as well as the Wolverines, coming up. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. And off we go with the latest Associated Press Top 25 College Football Poll entering week number 3. And if you look, 5 of the top 7 remain unchanged, including the top 3, beginning with the Ohio State Buckeyes with the number 1 spot. 2-0 record with 1,614 points and 57 first-place votes. They, of course, pitched a shutout against Grambling 70-0. And this week, they will host the Ohio University Bobcats. Staying in the Big Ten, the Penn State Nittany Lions reclaimed the number 2 spot. 2-0 record and 1,524 points plus 5 first-place votes. They also pitched a shutout against Florida International 34-0, and this week they will host the Villanova Wildcats, which is an FCS school. Holding steady at number 3 is the LSU Tigers. 2-0 record, 1,487 points, and 2 first-place votes. They took care of business against Louisiana Tech, winning 23-7. This week, they will host the Florida Gators, and we'll tell you if they are ranked or not this week, coming up. The first movement comes with the Oregon Ducks, going up 2 spots to number 4. 2-0 record, 1,375 points, and 1 first-place vote. They dismantled Oklahoma State 69-3, and this week they are off to Evanston to face the Northwestern Wildcats. No change with the Miami Hurricanes, staying at number 5. 2-0 record, 1,360 points. They took care of business as well against Bethune-Cookman 45-3. This week they will host the South Florida Bulls, who already has 2 victories against ranked opponents. And we'll tell you where South Florida ranks shortly. Dropping 2 spots to number 6 and pretty much trading places with Oregon are the Georgia Bulldogs. 2-0 record, 1,350 points. They moved down despite a 28-6 home win against Austin Peay. They'll open up SEC play this week against the Tennessee Vols in Knoxville. That should be a challenge for Georgia coming up on Saturday. No change with the Texas Longhorns, staying at number 7. 1-1 record and 1,248 points. They defeated San Jose State 38-7. That's a week after losing in Columbus against the Buckeyes. The Longhorns will welcome the Texas El Paso or UTEP Miners to Austin this week. Up 1 spot to number 8 are the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 0-1 record, 1,086 points. Notre Dame was the only ranked team to not play in week 2, but they are back in action this week, hosting Texas A&M in a primetime game. More on where the Aggies land shortly. Moving up 2 spots to number 9, the Illinois Fighting Illini, 2-0 record, 1,001 points. They handled Duke down in Durham this week, 45-19, and coming up, they're back home to host the Western Michigan Broncos. Jumping 4 spots to number 10 are the Florida State Seminoles, 2-0 record, 954 points. They hammered East Texas A&M 77-3, and this week Florida State does not play. So they are the only ranked team in week 3 to not play. Dropping out of the top 10, down 1 spot to number 11 are the South Carolina Gamecocks. 2-0 record, 927 points. They did defeat in-state rival South Carolina State 38-10, and this week they'll open conference play against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Dropping 4 more spots to number 12 are the Clemson Tigers. 1-1 record, 894 points. They took a 4-point drop despite a 27-16 win at home against Troy. And this week, they open ACC play when they travel to Atlanta to face Georgia Tech. Crazy Cajun is in the house. Looks like he's driving to league. Good luck to you tonight, Cajun. All right, jumping 5 spots to number 13 are the Oklahoma Sooners. 2-0 record, 893 points, so they nearly tied Clemson for 12th. The Sooners bullied Michigan on Saturday night, winning 24-13. Now they're off to Philly to face the Temple Owls. And yes, Temple does play their home games at Lincoln Financial Field if you're not familiar. Up 2 spots to number 14, the Iowa State Cyclones. 3-0 record and 794 points. They, of course, defeated the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Cyhawk game 16-13. And this week, Iowa State travels down south to face Arkansas State. The biggest jump in the AP poll this week goes to the Tennessee Volunteers, up 7 spots to number 15. 2-0 record, 537 points. They handled East Tennessee State 72-17 as Tennessee scores the most points in a game in a long time. Now they'll get a test as they welcome number 6 Georgia to Old Rocky Top this week. Jumping 3 spots to number 16, the Texas A&M Aggies. 2-0 record, 532 points. They doubled up Utah State 44-22, and they have a tough road test coming up in South Bend Saturday night against number 8 Notre Dame. Also up 3 spots to 17 are the Ole Miss Running Rebels. 2-0 record, 518 points. Won a nail-biter at Kentucky 30-23. They'll return home to host the Arkansas Razorbacks. Hey, Logan, what's poppin'? The South Florida Bulls are one of 3 newcomers in this week's AP poll, debuting at number 18. 2-0 record, 444 points. And this after picking up their second victory against a ranked opponent as they went to Gainesville and upset then number 13 Florida 18-16. And this week, their Sunshine State tour continues as they visit number 5 Miami and Carson Beck. Up 2 spots to number 19 are the Alabama Crimson Tide. 1-1 record, 396 points. They pitched a shutout at home against UL Monroe, 73-0. And this week, they will host the Wisconsin Badgers from the Big Ten. Jumping 5 spots to number 20 are the Utah Utes. 2-0 record, 361 points. They hammered Cal Poly 63-9. They're on the road this week to face the Wyoming Cowboys. Jumping up 3 spots to number 21 are the Texas Tech Red Raiders. 2-0 record, 347 points. They hammered Kent State 62-14, and this week they'll host the Oregon State Beavers, who are kind of off to a bit of a bad start this year up in Corvallis. Inching up 1 spot to number 22 are the Indiana Hoosiers. 2-0 record, 331 points. They beat up Kennesaw State 56-9, and now they'll host in-state rivals Indiana State as they will make their trek from Terre Haute to Bloomington this week. Biggest drop within the AP poll this week is the Michigan Wolverines, down 8 spots to number 23. 1-1 record and 250 points after being bullied in the trenches at then number 18 Oklahoma, losing 24-13. They'll try and get back on track as they host the Central Michigan Chippewas, and this will be the first game of a suspension for head coach Sharon Moore for the sign stealing scandal. The final 2 teams are newcomers to the AP poll this week, including the Auburn Tigers at number 24. 2-0 record, 172 points. They defeated Ball State 42-3. And this week they will host South Alabama. And new at number 25 are the Missouri Tigers. 2-0 record, 109 points. They beat their border rivals, the Kansas Jayhawks, 42-31 in a shootout. And this week they'll host the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. Dropping from the rankings this week are the Arizona State Sun Devils, who were ranked 12th in last week's poll. Of course, the Florida Gators, who were ranked number 13 before losing at home to South Florida. And the SMU Mustangs, who were at number 17 before they lost at home to Baylor. So in the others receiving votes category, we have the aforementioned Arizona State Sun Devils with 94 points. Then you have the BYU Cougars with 92 points. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets with 78. The Florida Gators dropped all the way to 70 points. Then you have the USC Trojans with 64. The TCU Horned Frogs with 58 points. Then it's the Mississippi State Bulldogs with 52. The Louisville Cardinals with 49. The SMU Mustangs, previously 17th in the AP poll, now getting just 26 points. Then you got the Nebraska Cornhuskers with 10. The Tulane Greenway with 9 points. Baylor Bears with 7. UNLV Rebels with 5. The Pitt Panthers with 3. Navy Midshipmen with 2. And then you got the Vanderbilt Commodores and the Memphis Tigers, each getting 1 point. All right, jumping over to the AFCA coaches poll for week 3. There we go. And there is no change within the top 5, with Ohio State taking the top spot, 2-0 record, 1,668 points, and 62 first-place votes. Number 2 is the Penn State Nittany Lions, 2-0 record, 1,576 points, and 4 first-place votes. At number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs, 2-0 record, 1,488 points. Number 4 is the LSU Tigers at 2-0 and 1,472 points and 1 first-place vote. And no change for the Oregon Ducks at number 5. 2-0 record, 1,423 points. The first movement in the polls come at number 6 as the Miami Hurricanes move up a spot. 2-0 record, 1,330 points. They traded spots with the Texas Longhorns, who moved down to number 7. 1-1 record, 1,288 points. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish is up a spot, At number 8, 0-1 record, 1,041 points. Of course, they didn't play last week. The Illinois Fighting Illini jumped 3 spots to number 9. 2-0 record, 1,019 points, just ahead of the South Carolina Gamecocks, who move up a spot to number 10. 2-0 record, 1,007 points. The Clemson Tigers fell 3 spots to number 11. 1-1 record, 995 points. The Florida State Seminoles are up 7 spots to number 12, and this is not the biggest jump within the coaches poll. 2-0 record, 843 points. The Ole Miss Runnin' Rebels are up a spot to number 13. 2-0 record, 803 points. The Iowa State Cyclones, fresh off of their Cyhawk victory over Iowa, they're up 4 spots to number 14. 3-0 record, 794 points. Number 15 are the Tennessee Vols. They're up 2 spots from last week. 2-0 record, 733 points. The Oklahoma Sooners represent the biggest jump within the coaches poll this week, moving up 8 spots to number 16. 2-0 record, 693 points. Up 5 to number 17 are the Texas A&M Aggies. 2-0 record, 514 points. Up 2 spots to 18 are the Alabama Crimson Tide. 1-1 record, 436 points. Just ahead of the Indiana Hoosiers, also moving up a couple spots to number 19. 2-0 record, 425 points. Up 3 to number 20 are the Texas Tech Red Raiders. 2-0 record, 362 points. The Utah Utes are one of 2 newcomers to the coaches poll this week, entering at number 21. 2-0 record and 270 points. The Michigan Wolverines, that's my team. We took a drop, down 9 spots to number 22. 1-1 record, 241 points. That's after Saturday night's loss against the Sooners. The other newcomer in the coaches poll this week are the South Florida Bulls, new at number 23. 2-0 record, 232 points. The Arizona State Sun Devils, now unranked in the AP, still ranked in the coaches poll with the biggest drop this week, plummeting 14 spots to number 24. 1-1 record and 206 points. And then the BYU Cougars remain unchanged at number 25. 2-0 record, 169 points after Saturday's 27-3 win at home against Stanford. And they are off this week. 2 teams dropped from the rankings completely, and those are the Florida Gators and the SMU Mustangs. Others receiving votes in the coaches poll include Missouri at 142 points, Louisville with 88, SMU previously 16th in the coaches poll, and USC both with 87 points. Florida previously ranked 15th in the coaches poll, now getting 68 points. Auburn 57, Tulane 55, TCU 36. Georgia Tech 26, Nebraska 19, Navy 16, Mississippi State and Washington both with 15, Memphis with 11, Baylor with 9, Vanderbilt with 7, Kansas with 4, UNLV with 3, and then Pittsburgh and NC State both with 1 point. All right, that's a look at the college football rankings entering Week 3 of the 2025 season. We'll check the standings, or not the standings, but the rankings every Monday throughout the season, at least until the college football playoff rankings are released. Then we'll start doing them on Wednesday morning. All right, my next video coming up will be the Week 1 season opener of the week that was, where we'll take a look at team and player number and player statistics from all 16 games in this kickoff week of 2025. That will drop tomorrow, so make sure you join me for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.